Welcome to my garden in the desert. A friend asked me a great question. For some reason, my peach tree is starting to grow something like green little branches that look like saplings from underneath the soil. My response, they are sprouts or suckers from the rootstock. You should cut them off. Wait, what? Suckers from rootstock? What are you talking about? Well, let me explain. A lot of fruit such as apples, apricots, peaches, plums, and more don't grow true from seed, and they take forever to mature enough to produce. That means if you save the seeds from that tasty Honeycrisp apple, start them from seed and wait 5 or 10 years and finally get apples growing, they will taste awful. They will not be those sweet, juicy Honeycrisp apples that you love. That seed had a lot of different genetic material packed into it, going back to the original wild apple, and would have been pollinated by whatever the bee had been exploring. So to grow an apple tree, or others, of just the variety you desire, you start with a cutting from that tree and graft it to a known good rootstock from another tree. It needs to be the right match for what you are growing. Some rootstock would reject a cutting by releasing toxins, or some rootstock might not have the same growing temperature range or be resistant to common pathogens. So most growers buy specific rootstock for the variety they want to grow. Typically apples, apricots, peaches, plums, nectarines, and even almond are compatible. Rootstock is the root and small section of trunk of the desired tree that have been growing together. You can see it easily on the young apricot trees, which I will show you in a minute. Once the grower has chosen the best matched rootstock, they take cuttings from the desired fruit tree. A young small branch, typically in the fall, cut at an angle to its known cambium, a layer underneath the bark that is alive with lots of growing cells. Then cut a vertical V-slit in the rootstock using a little root hormone and special grafting tape that holds the two tightly together, seals out water and pathogens. They put the branches into the slit like a tight-fitting puzzle piece and tape it together. They are often sold to the customer the following spring. It typically takes another year before fruit production begins. While that's a whole year longer than we all want, it sure beats waiting 5 to 10 years for an if and or maybe. Other trees besides fruit and nuts are grafted as well. I have 7 fruit trees that were grafted, 4 apricot, 2 plum, and 1 peach. Dragon fruit are often grafted as well to speed production or to clone, but I don't bother. Pomegranates, fig, and blackberry I have are not grafted. They all grow true. The apricots don't have any suckers growing on them below the graft yet, but the peach tree sure does. I want to go ahead and remove them. They serve no purpose and zap some energy from the rest of the tree, which is loaded with fruit and needs all the energy it can get. As a general rule, grab a clean pair of garden snippers and just cut them off. I'm a little crazy, so I'm going to use a knife. As with all the gardening tasks, make sure your tools are clean. Wiping clean with alcohol is a good idea. That way you don't risk spreading pathogens or other diseases from one plant to the next. As I step ever so carefully, alrighty. So these are saplings, let me get these rocks out of the way because I don't need them here anymore anyways. Don't want to toss it on the dog. All right, so what looks like little saplings are actually the suckers right here. Not sure if you can see it, but this is about where the graft was in this wide, knobbly area right here. Let's see if I can snag the camera, give you a better view. So these are the suckers that I don't want, that are just zapping the energy from the rest of the tree. These lower branches are okay for now. I might trim some of them in the fall, but not now. Just these. This is right about where the graft is right here. See how you have the skinnier part of the tree? This would have been a tiny little cutting at some point. And then from here down would have been from the original tree that was grown for rootstock. Grab my handy knife and just snip, 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 snip. Trying not to take anything else with it, like all these strawberry plants. All right. And that should be it. I don't see anything else. Put my knife away. No purpose for these little suckers, so I'll just throw them out for the wildlife. The rabbits might like them. So you can see the graft a little bit easier on this young apricot tree here. Would have been right. See this V cut right here? As this actually wasn't a V cut, they did about a 45-degree angle cut down to here and did the same thing with a little branch off a apricot tree. They put it hard together right here. You can see some of the remnants of the tape. They use a special grafting tape that dissolves after a while, but it probably sat for about a year like this. I'll see if I can find some pictures from last year of this tree. Not even the diameter of a pencil. And now all four of these were the same way. The apricot, that apricot, that apricot, oh, dog. That one, and that apricot. This peach tree I got, I guess this is its third year I've had it. It used to be in this garden bed, but it wasn't stable enough and the peach tree kept falling over in the wind. This one, you can see grafting tape still dissolving, but it had another 45-degree. I prefer the, I prefer the V-split. Same thing, this is a plum tree, and you can see right here where it was grafted. And same with this one right here. So I'll just rub that lower branch off, but anything that grows below the graft is a sucker you just want to cut off. Well, I hope you learned something today. As you can see, it's another windy day in the desert. So hopefully this came through on the microphone okay. Have a great day.